Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to show you how to remove the front bumper cover on your Honda Odyssey. Start out by opening up your hood. And then we're just going to remove this cover, and just do that by taking both hands and just pulling up on it. You just want to get your hands as close in to where it's holding it as you can, and then pull up. And then once that's off, just go ahead and lay it to the side. And now we need to remove these 4 plastic clips right here on top of the grill. And there's a couple different ways we can do that. We can use just a regular flathead screwdriver. And to do that, you're going to pry underneath the middle portion on one side and just wiggle your screwdriver around a little bit. Just kind of back and forth like that. And then come around to the other side and go underneath the middle and wiggle it again, and then kind of work your way around the clip until the middle starts to work its way out. And then when the middle comes out, you can just grab and hold it with your hand and pull it out. Or you can also use a clip tool, and just makes it a little bit faster. You just get it underneath the middle portion, tap on the back, and then pry up on it, and it pops it right out. And then same thing with the other 2 down here. And then we're going to come around to the edge of the molding here, and you can see those 2 little openings. So you're going to want to look down through those openings, and right there is the retainer clip that holds the chrome molding on. And then in the front, right along that front edge right there, that's the part of the clip that we need to press down on, and we're just going to use this flathead screwdriver to press down on it. And when I'm doing that, I'm going to use my other hand to kind of pull out on the molding and pull a bit of pressure on it. So I'm going to take my flathead and press on that tab, and then pull on the molding with my other hand. And you can see that little tab right now that I just pressed down on. And now we're going to slide down to the other hole. And do the same thing. And after you get this first one up here, you're going to want to maintain pressure with your hand until you get this one undone. That way it doesn't slide back in and clip to that first one back in. And once you have these 2 out, we're going to go around to the other side and do the same thing. And now that both sides of this molding are loose, we need to pry out on the center portion of this molding. And I'm going to use this large plastic pry tool. You can get these pretty inexpensive off of Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description below where you can get these along with all the other specialty tools I'm using. And we're just going to get it in between this molding here and then this black trim here. And with this other hand, we're going to put a little bit of pressure on it, and then we're just going to pry on it. And you can see the side here gave. And so we're just going to work our way down the middle and around the side. And you can see here, these are the clips that we just popped loose. These little white ones here. It pops them loose from the grill holes right there. These typically come out without breaking, but they are an interchangeable part. So if you do break them, you can slide it off. Or sometimes when you take the grill off, or the upper chrome portion here, these will pop off. You'll lose them, or they'll break. If you need more of these, again, I'll link to these. Again, very inexpensive, but typically they're fine. You just want to check them and make sure that they're all there and they're not broken. And then we're going to remove these 4 clips just like before. And now our upper grill here is completely loose from the car. And now we're going to climb underneath the bumper. And starting here on the passenger side, there's a bolt right here that needs to come out, and use a 10mm socket. And then we're going to slide down to the next clip. And this one is very similar to the ones we did earlier. It just has little grooves on both sides. And this one, same thing. You just use a flathead in that groove and wiggle it on both sides, get that middle popped out. And then once it pops out, go ahead and pull it out. And then we're going to slide on down again to right here. And there's another bolt. Again, a 10mm socket. And then next, there's another clip. And this one's just like the ones that we were doing earlier. And these ones on the bottom can get a little bit grimy, so sometimes they're a little bit more difficult to get out than the ones up above. But usually if you go back and forth, side to side, take your time, you can get those out without breaking them. But if you do break them, again, I'll link to those also, replacement clips. And then from there, we're going to move on down back here to this bolt. And there are some clips here in the front, but we don't need to worry about those. We can leave those in. All those do is hold this rubber strip onto the bumper. So we're just going to slide on back to these bolts right here and go ahead and remove those. And then we're going to finish out down here on the driver's side, removing the clip, bolt, clip, and then bolt there on the end. And now we're going to come around to the side of the bumper by the wheel, and there's two Phillips screws that need to come out. And this one down here, if you're turning it and it doesn't want to come, just go ahead and while you're turning it, press on the fender liner, which is this black thing in here. You want to push it away from the screw. Sometimes it doesn't want to thread out. It's got like a speed nut there on the fender liner. So just put some pressure on it if it doesn't want to thread out. And now we're going to pop the bumper loose from the fender, and there's a bracket underneath here that is part of the fender assembly that holds the bumper on. Sometimes it's called a spacer, and we need to pop that loose from there. And to do that, we're going to use a skinny plastic pry tool, and with one hand we put a little bit of pressure on the bumper, pulling out on it, and then with the plastic pry tool we're just going to get in between this lens here and the bumper and pry down on it. And you can see there's that little groove there in the bumper. I'm getting this plastic pry tool right in that groove and pressing down on it while pulling out. So it's going to work our way up the fender. Alright, and here's a little bit of a shot of the slit in the bumper that they clip into, and then this is the little tab. So you can see it moving right there. That is the tab that's on this bracket or spacer. And if those are broken in any way, you can change that bracket out. So if you're changing out your bumper and that's broken and your bumper doesn't want to stay, that's a possibility on why your bumper might not be staying in place. But we got this side here loose from the fender, and now we're going to travel up to the front of the headlight here. So to get this bumper off of the bracket that is underneath the headlight here, you have to take your hand and just get it in the side of the bumper here, and then use your thumb to put some pressure on it. But you can see a black tab right there and right there. It's part of this bracket that's part of the headlight assembly, and sometimes they don't want to let go. So as you're sliding the bumper out, sometimes you need to take your plastic pry tool and pry up. You can kind of see that bracket that is moved. Pry up on it while putting pressure on the bumper, and it'll pop it loose from there. And you just want to go all the way down here and make sure it's all loose from the headlight, and we're good to go. And then once we kind of got it off here, we can pick it back up and just kind of set it in place. And now we're going to go around to the other side and do the same thing. And now that we have everything unfastened, just go ahead and grab a hold of the bumper and kind of pick up on it and just slide it off the car. And then if your model has fog lights, you just want to pick it up just slightly and then set it on the ground. And then you want to come around to the passenger side, and you can see the plug right here. The wires lead up to the plug. You just want to reach down here below and press the tab and pull out on it. And the tab is on the bottom side of this plug. That is the tab right there in the middle. So you just want to press on that and pull out. And once you do that, your bumper's off. And if your model has parking sensors, then there may be additional wires also for that. So you just want to be careful. Make sure you unplug everything before you go pulling on the bumper too far. But once you have everything unplugged, now the bumper's off. And that's it, guys. Bumper's off. Thanks for watching.